This is the first time I've done this, and I'm going to talk about the Tigers until I don't have anything else to say. This is some casual Tiger talk, and I just want to get all my thoughts out there. Treat this like I'm on some sort of show or something. I don't know. But I just have so many thoughts. I don't normally get them out in this long. I've been trying to focus on the short form stuff. We can clip it if we need to. But there are so many different dynamics going on with this Tigers season that just needs to be talked about, man. It's so exciting. It's so exciting. I'm so hyped right now on the Tigers. I mentioned it in a TikTok and a YouTube short. I was ready to give up on this team like literally 10 days ago. And then they rattle off this stretch. The three things, I got 3 tabs pulled up on my computer right now, and they are the 3 games from this series against the Oakland A's, because it is so much fun what they did this week to a team that is in the same spot as them. A team that is low in their division, a division that's not necessarily overly achieving. You're still technically alive in the wild card race at this point in the season, and we buried them. We buried my second favorite team in the MLB. Just absolutely destroyed them. And I think that there are a million things to talk about right now before a big series against Philadelphia, coming off of this awesome sweep of Oakland, going into the All-Star break, which takes you into the deadline. So many decisions to make. So many guys to showcase. So many storylines right now with this team. It's what makes baseball so great. It's what makes sports so great. It's what makes being a sports fan so great. And I just want to talk. And I'm just going to talk till I don't have anything else to say, and we'll go from there. So, I think first things can be first. Awesome sweep from the Tigers. The pitching was on point. The offense was on point. Stepped up in places where injuries were had. It's just so cool to see this team start to click and maybe even have a few balls bounce their way, man. The way the luck has been against them is just so unfortunate. But it started with a Skubal start on Tuesday. And he looks really good. He's only going to ramp it up into the spot he needs to be for whoever has him come playoff time. Which then begs the question, should you have him come playoff time if you're the Detroit Tigers? I saw someone on Twitter say that analytically, going off the models, just pros and cons list, if you were to make it very technical, the right move is trading Tarik Skubal. I don't think I can get behind a trade of Tarik Skubal. If I was Scott Harris right now, I'm keeping him. The human emotion in me, maybe that's what it is, the human attachment. I could not sleep at night if this Tigers team gets to the postseason and they're in that 3-game wildcard series, or they're in that 5-game divisional series, or that 7-game championship series, or that 7-game World Series, and they are in a spot where, whether they're up and they're looking to really give themselves a big advantage, or they're down one and they're desperately in need of a win, whether it be game 1 of a series and you know who you're going to, I would not be able to sleep at night with the what if of if the Detroit Tigers had Tarik Skubal. And I think that has to factor into your decision. Yeah, the pros, without a doubt, the pros of trading Tarik Skubal outweigh the pros of keeping him. I fully agree. I fully agree that this team that is now what? 7 games under 500 should not keep the biggest trade asset at the deadline in the MLB right now for a maybe chance at the playoffs that turns into a maybe chance at the divisional series that turns into a maybe chance at the championship series that turns into a maybe chance at the World Series. It doesn't make sense. But that's what this draws out of you. Making decisions that don't make sense. You have to keep him. You have to keep him. Not only what he would add in the postseason, when he would maybe be even better than he's been in previous years in the playoffs, because he didn't pitch as much this year. There are a few less innings on that arm, despite the fact that a lot of it was rehab. Maybe he's even stronger on this side of it. He looked great against Oakland in game 1 of this 3-game set. And I'm not saying that the playoffs are going to be against teams like Oakland. I cannot justify getting rid of him when you have an opportunity. The Detroit sports discourse has gotten to the point where these teams aren't buying hard enough. That's how everybody feels. The Pistons haven't bought hard enough. The Lions haven't bought hard enough. The Tigers didn't buy hard enough last year. And now that they're in the position to possibly buy by just keeping, to buy by not getting rid of your own assets, we're screaming for them to sell. And I understand this would be a spot where you would probably get rid of Skubal and buy elsewhere. I don't think this is the team's last chance. I think you have a handful of prospects that are coming up that are going to do really special things. And this can lead us off into a tangent about this pitching rotation and the young couple guys in this pitching rotation that I also think are huge bright spots that affect this decision. So before I get too deep into the pitching staff, I just want to make my stance clear. You have to keep Tarik Skubal. How are you going to sleep at night if they lose another win-or-go-home game in the postseason? How are you going to sleep at night if they're a game away? And you're thinking, man, this offense is hot. This pitching staff is hot. Who knows how we get the bullpen figured out? We'll talk about that too. But you were the number one. You were your ace. You were the best pitcher in the MLB away from making it happen. And you're not going to keep him? There are hit or miss prospects in every trade. I don't care if you are trading for the absolute number one prospect in the league right now. That's what the A's did when they got rid of Mason Miller. Yeah, they got DeVries. DeVries is going to be awesome, I'm sure. But there's always a chance he's not. And if you go look at this A's team, I'm sure they'd tell you they'd love to have the best closer in baseball right now. So, with how unpredictable things are, with the way the season has gone up and down, left and right, you're going to go get rid of that guy? You have to keep him. You don't know what's going to happen. Tarik Skubal is untouchable. I'm sorry. If they go lose all 3 to Philly, if they lose 4 out of the 6 coming out of the break, and you're at that deadline and the decision time has come, yeah, get rid of him. But you are not currently in a position to get rid of Tarik Skubal, the best pitcher this franchise has seen since Justin Verlander's prime days. The best pitcher a lot of the league has seen at most days. It's just, there's no way you get rid of Tarik Skubal. I am absolutely team keep Tarik Skubal. There's just no way around it. No way around it. So with the first 10 minutes being dedicated to Tarik Skubal, we can bridge that right into this pitching staff and how good it looks. Troy Melton is back, and while I don't think he is at the level we expect Troy Melton to be at, as crazy as that is to say with his performance on Wednesday against the A's, I think there's more there. He just proved that he can work through an injury. That guy is going to be an ace once we lose Tarik Skubal in free agency. He's going to be the ace. He is so good. He's got so much there, and he's already doing it quickly this season off of an injury. Melton. You've got Framber Valdez, who looked awesome today. You know he can turn it on any day. I know he hasn't been the $3-year, $115 million signing the Tigers were hoping he would be. Casey Mize looks like the number one draft pick. He was supposed to be when the Tigers took him back in, 2019? Kader Montero, who expected that? Jack Flaherty has looked good at times recently. Maybe there was something nagging him. I'm not saying he's going to be your number one, but if that's your number 5, is it Jack Flaherty that's pitched the way he has his last couple outings? With a little bit of luck coming back the Tigers' way. Jackson Jobe, who knows where that rehab assignment lands him? He just started that today. I absolutely love where the starting pitching is at. And then you would argue, shouldn't you get rid of Skubal with how good the rotation is? But no. This isn't the beginning of the regular season where you need a 5-man staff to get you through and you've got an extra arm. This is going into the postseason where you're going to go 3, maybe 4 starters. And when you have a team that is struggling in the bullpen, depending on how many starters you end up needing to go with the way the playoff schedule goes, that's how many guys you get to add to your bullpen. Even if Flaherty has to be one of the starters because he's not a guy who's able to go to the bullpen, I guarantee you Casey Mize will be willing to go to the bullpen with the way his career has been and how much he probably cares about proving himself right now. Melton's proven it out of the pen. Jackson Jobe can go out of the pen. Kader Montero can go out of the pen. Man, I love what Montero has given us over and over again. Finnegan has shown his spots. Kenley Jansen worries me. Will Vest worries me. But who knows who Chris Fetter is going to have hot? Chris Fetter knows what he's doing, whether you like it or not. AJ Hinch knows what he's doing with these matchups, whether you like it or not, whether it's been lucky or not. It's worked before. It can work again. It will work again. There's a reason these are 2 of the most esteemed coaches in their positions in Major League Baseball. They're going to have you in a good spot come playoff time. And with the talent that you have in those arms, I know people were upset with the DFA, or the demotion of Emmanuel DeJesus, but he's proven he can do it in a spot where he cares. He did that in the World Baseball Classic. I would love to see that guy in the postseason, along with Holton, along with Sommers, Big Sommers. He has looked awesome. You'll find the arms. But the team definitely isn't in a spot where they can get rid of those arms. Keeping Skubal, keeping Mize, keeping all these guys. And I think that pretty much covers it on the pitching side. Guys like Drew Anderson have shown here and there what they're capable of. I mean, for crying out loud. The addition that everybody laughed at of Jacob Waguespack, I think. I mean, that's legit, man. And you can go at the deadline. Right-handed relief arms, left-handed relief arms, they're out there. Who knows if you can get Brisky hot going into the postseason? I'm not saying these are all guys I trust. I'm just saying these are all guys that are options. There's a plethora of talent in this pitching staff. Starters and relievers. I mean, you can go series by series the way Hinch has in the past with whether or not you're going to need more righties or lefties, more starters or closers. Like, you have those options. I'm so excited to see what Fetter and Hinch can do with this pitching staff because there's an abundance of talent. There isn't a pitching staff with more talent in Major League Baseball. I'm not going to tell you they have the same 1-2 punch as Milwaukee, who have Mr. Rasky and Harrison. I'm not going to tell you they got the same, even pitching, starting rotation as Philly with Sanchez and Wheeler and company. But there is no way that you can say this team doesn't have the pitching talent. And there's no way you can move on from Skubal and still feel like you're a team that can compete. If you're a team that can compete, you have to keep him. You have to. I've seen people say, well, try and thread the needle here. Do you know how many franchises try and thread the needle on setting themselves up for the future and trying to win now and how terribly that goes? That is a terrible decision. And you don't know exactly how the future's going to go. You know more about the present. And that's why you go for it with Skubal and this pitching staff. This pitching staff is so good. I love where this team is at. Without watching full games and just talking about maybe James Outman being above average defender in center and just certain lineups that Hinch has to play to get the defense right, or the base running with Cora gone and Hinch saying it was actually a philosophical difference, even though it felt like Hinch really cared about taking the extra base. We'll see where the base running goes from here. Without talking about the two kind of ancillary assets to both offense and defense, or just without talking about that, you got to talk about this offense. I think, first of all, you have to start with the three guys that have been there since day one this season. You've got your rookie of the year, your top 5 player in baseball in Kevin McGonigal. I hyped him up going into the year, just based on seeing what he did down in the Dominican, seeing what he did in spring training, knowing about him as a prospect and the scouting reports that were given on him. He has been more than advertised. An 818 OPS after today. He's the top American League player in Baseball Reference WAR. Right now. He's edging out Bobby Witt. Bobby Witt, who hits home runs and runs the bases and plays stellar defense. How is McGonigal there? It's because he's the purest hitter in Major League Baseball right now. There is nobody who gets cheated less than Kevin McGonigal. He does everything right at the dish. There is not an at-bat where you go, man, he got beat. No. He's not going to get a hit every time. You've heard this saying a billion times about what it takes to be a Hall of Famer in baseball. He's got that in him. He's already locked up. There is no limit on the excitement for me on Kevin McGonigal and the shit he's going to do in this league. Oh my goodness, how lucky are we to have a guy like Kevin McGonigal? Oh, it's so special. It's so special. I love having Kevin McGonigal on our baseball team. He just fires me up every time he gets in the box, lefty, righty. It doesn't matter. From day one in that at-bat against Wandy Peralta. And then day 2 in another at-bat against Wandy Peralta, a wily vet who doesn't necessarily carve up lefties, but a young lefty in his first series in Major League Baseball. He couldn't figure him out. Extra base hits for the win. 10 pitch at-bats for the win. Kevin McGonigal's impact was felt since day 1. There is an AL Central rookie, Munetaka Murakami, who is up there with the best in baseball in hitting home runs, what this league is all about. And Kevin McGonigal is still objectively, subjectively, all around the better rookie right now. Over a guy who played professional baseball for years in Japan. Murakami's going to be awesome. It stinks that he's on the White Sox. And there are not many years where a rookie comes through the American League and he's as good as Aaron Judge and Mike Trout in their rookie seasons. Man, I don't even know what to predict of Kevin McGonigal's career. I don't even know where you would start with Kevin McGonigal's career, where it's going to go. The flexibility to play all those infield positions, the ability to DH and still be a great hitter. He doesn't get thrown off his rhythm. It is special what Detroit has found in Kevin McGonigal, who, by the way, while it looked rough for a while there, it looked rough with a guy like Spencer Torkelson, who I can talk about. He was drafted by Detroit, developed by Detroit, and he's now performing for Detroit. I don't care what... I mean, he was fully under the Scott Harris regime, but for all these guys, I don't care what regime they were under. If I see a guy that was drafted by us, developed by us, and now is performing for us, I'm very happy, because there was a long stretch of time where that did not happen whatsoever. You have to go back to old days of the early 2010s. And I was such a young fan, I don't even necessarily know where all these guys were developed. J.D. Martinez, your Austin Jackson for a time. Obviously, Cabrera and Fielder weren't developed with us. Just Nick Castellanos. I don't know where all these guys were necessarily developed or what happened there, but there aren't even a whole lot of bats from that era that you can necessarily point out and be like, yeah, the Tigers did a good job. It is the first time in a while we've had guys coming up through our system really performing at the level that these guys are. McGonigal is all-star number 1. He's mentioned first for a reason. Next up, you can bring up the catcher who I didn't expect to make the leap the way he has, but man, did I trust that he was going to be our starting catcher for a long time in Dylan Dingler. There's not a better catcher even close to him in baseball right now. How insane is that to say? We have the best catcher in baseball, the best rookie in baseball. It is crazy. And Dylan Dingler's in a position in his career where Detroit has him locked up for a while. Arbitration, control, service time, whatever it is. Who knows what's going to happen next year? I'm not worried about that right now. Right now, I'm worried about this year. If you're not worried about this year, you haven't watched this Tigers team all season. Yeah, the luck was rough. Yeah, they played some bad baseball. But they're right in the running. And that's why you got to care about right now. And the guy who's doing the most right now, that was unexpected, is Dylan Dingler. He's going to get some MVP votes, man. He is still doing the best defensive work at catcher. Who knew that he was going to be the best at challenging? How could you have predicted that? He's the best challenging catcher in baseball. He's got the best arm behind the dish in baseball, and he's now the best hitting catcher in baseball. The 3 most important things as a catcher. I can't believe what Dylan Dingler is bringing to the table. I could just over and over say how happy and excited I am to see him play like this, and I hope he keeps it up throughout his career, and I hope he's a Tiger for life. But to have a staple behind the dish like that and a guy whose performance doesn't drop despite the fact that you still DH him on his off days, man, that's awesome to have. That is awesome to have. I don't even have that much to say about him. I watched Mark DeRosa's breakdown on him to see what really changed in his approach, and it doesn't feel like that much. He's gotten more into his legs as his legs have gotten stronger, which is just exactly what you should do as a young guy in this league. But it's just so cool to see the way he has developed. I remember his first year, his rookie year, in 2024. We still had to play Jake Rogers on Tarek Skubal days, and we'll talk about Jake Rogers for at least 30 seconds as well for what he's done over the past 48 hours. But the point here, the fact that Dylan Dingler is now one of the most trusted catcher in baseball behind the dish, not to mention his offensive production, and the fact that when he first started, you had to go to the vet and say, okay, let Tarek have Jake behind the dish. And now Dylan Dingler, it's a bummer if you don't have him back there. And he's an absolute staple in the lineup on the days that he's not back there. Is so fun to watch. We are so lucky to have Dylan Dingler. What is this? His 3rd year in a row being an all-star? The most polarizing player on the Tigers. His 3rd straight year as an all-star. Last year he was getting MVP votes. It's Riley Green. And people have had tons of conversations about whether or not he's a superstar. And that's completely fair to have those conversations. Honestly, he's probably not going to be the number 1 player on a championship team. And going into this year, he was our number 1 player. He was our number 1 position player. So it was definitely a conversation that needed to be had. But now we've got some help. Green can be your 2A, 2B guy. And I believe in him to do that. Especially with the approach change that he has made from last season. And the way he is hitting lefties. You now have 3 guys where if you were playing a video game, or if you were going back to the days of not really caring about righty-lefty, you have 3 guys at the top of your order that you could put there as a staple every day. McGonigal, Dingler, and Green. Now, obviously, I know Hinch will never do that. Honestly, I don't want Hinch to do that. I don't think that's how the sport works anymore. But the fact that Green can be one of those 3 is so awesome. I know the layout Superman play that he made the other day doesn't mean he's a plus defender. But the fact that he can play defense, the fact that he can run fine, however ugly it looks, his approach change this year has been so special, and it's so appreciated, because it's not going to look as flashy as his 36 home runs and 111 RBIs as last year. But he has definitely cut down on the striking out. He's definitely made himself more valuable when it comes to hitting lefties. He's a guy that's constantly making adjustments, and that is so fucking awesome to see. He's still making changes to his game. He's still working on it. A guy who in his 5th season now can still do that. And do it in a way that is to contribute to winning. The fact that we can talk about him and Dingler as 2A and 2B. Man. I just can't say enough about these guys and the results that they have produced. Our 3 All-Stars, deservedly so. Whether or not they should be starters, I think so. All 3 of them. You know, fan voting aside, I think the Tigers fan base, and deservedly so, myself included, I felt some momentum early on, but then it kind of immediately gets to the point where, man, this team isn't in a great position right now, and you want me to go online and put my email and phone number in to vote? I get it. I also think we should do away with the fan voting, with the trends that are now happening and the way the Canadian fan base is taking over. Credit to them. But the point being, and maybe Green falls just outside that line. He's already matched his WAR total from last year, by the way. He's on track to have something more of a season that we saw from him in 2024 when he first broke out, and he was truly, truly a special player. It's those 3 deservedly so All-Stars. In the hopes of possibly being able to trim this down to a half hour, I'll keep my talk about the Detroit role-playing offense quick. It is so awesome to see some of these guys who really outplayed what they're capable of in the back half of the 2024 season and the front half of the 2025 season, kind of refine that groove here over this latest stretch. And I don't think there's a guy who epitomizes it more than Jake Rogers. Coming in off the bench and hitting a home run, and no doubter, something this guy does not do often. I don't hate often, and I hated on Jake Rogers earlier this season, and I regret it. I even, in the tweet, said I hate, not necessarily that I hate disliking Jake, but I said he is a fan favorite, he is my favorite, I love him, but boy, was that a rough look. And some of those at-bats up there, man, they look rough. But he hit a home run, no doubt, to left field. Oh, you don't know if I'm talking about Game 2 or Game 3? Oh, what if I told you the time of them? That would help, right? No, they were at the exact same minute on back-to-back nights. No doubters to left field. Jake Rogers stepped the hell up. To not let the outside noise get to you the way he did. I mean, if it wasn't for Jahmai Jones, the outside noise would have been all over Jake Rogers. And I have a ton of respect for Jahmai Jones, by the way, for what he endured and the way he kept fighting. And I hope that after this DFA, he rejoins our organization and there's a way to get him back into the groove we've seen from him before, because I think it's still in there. I think there was some bad luck and some bad baseball and some outside noise that made it really tough on him. But that's just more about these role players, man. There's so many of them that, while going cold, have done so much. Zach McKinstry, who homered today, a big home run for the Tigers, who really needed it in that spot. He's hitting over 300 during this stretch. And it just kind of goes to show that you have your 3 guys, your main guys that really carry the load. They'll continue doing so. But it comes down to the rest of that offense until the Tigers kind of get some of these guys up out of the minors. You know, your Max Clarks, your Bryce Rainers, your Max Andersons, your who knows what Jace Young will be able to finally do. Who knows? That's really nothing. They're on Lorenzo, though. The point here, how you Lee, who has had his days. The point being, there is a young group coming. And it's almost like it's a bunch of bridge quarterbacks holding on, trying to do the most they can before they are replaced. And it sucks to say that. It sucks to say that. But man, does it feel good to watch those guys fight their asses off. And man, will they always have a place in my Tigers fandom. For the 2 years they just gave me, and I'm telling you, the year they're giving us right now. McKinstry, Rogers, Lee's doing it. Vierling is having his moments despite the fact that he's still not back to that pre-injury form that we so want to see. Kerry Carpenter, who, while he's not the same all-star slugger that was matching the OPS of both Judge and Ohtani, given favorable matchups. Colt Keith, who's finally seeing some luck. You got Ben Malgiri, who's finally made it to the majors. Those guys are very important, and it's awesome to see them contributing the way they can. Torque has a special place in my heart. He was the guy that kind of led this charge as I jumped back into my Detroit Tigers fandom after I stopped playing baseball. As I got into the broadcasting route and I dove into the Tigers, listening to first Matt Shepard, but more importantly, Jason Benetti. Torque was the guy. Torque is the guy. Torque threw me a ball when I went out to that minor league ballpark last season, and I'll do it again this season. He will always be my guy. I just need him to keep fighting. He will keep fighting. I'm not worried about whether or not. That makes it sound like I'm worried about whether or not he's going to keep fighting. I know for a fact he will keep on fighting. That's what I love about this guy. That's one of the things I love about this guy. And there's enough in there. Yeah, he's not the best pure hitter in the world. Yeah, he's not the best first baseman in the league. But the ability to always have him in the lineup, despite what the defensive metrics say, I feel confident with him defending over at first. And the fact that he hits both sides of the plate normally. He's come up with clutch hits before. It's not his forte. It's not something that's statistically true. Came up with a big one in the postseason last year. I'm just not going to move on from this guy ever. It's a guy that I think was harmed by the Tigers' development system that I mentioned earlier being so good to Green, Dingler, and McGonigal. But I can't entirely put it on him. I can't entirely even say that he's a bust, because he's my guy. Always will be. And Torque will be important down the stretch. I promise you that. He's going to find himself in clutch moments where the pinch hitters are needed to be used or have been used in more important spots, meaning guys who are less reliable than Torque. I just have a gut feeling he's going to do it, and it's probably bias. It's probably homerism. But I'm never going to throw in the towel on Spencer Torkelson. Never. You will never catch me throwing the towel in on Spencer Torkelson. I think that this run might just come down to him. I talked about the pitching staff and want to keep Scooble. I've talked about the main Tigers in the lineup who have continued to do their job. I've talked about the role guys who have stepped up when necessary. Spencer Torkelson is right on that line. Where does he fit? He's clearly not one of our star players. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that he is. I also don't think he's the same as these role players and these offensive spot players that I've talked about. But I do think he's going to matter. And man, when he comes up big in September and October, I'm going to pull this clip right here of me saying that he is going to do so. That is my guy. Through and through. I believe in this Tigers team. I think there is a run coming. I think there's something special coming. Maybe it's just this recent hot streak, and maybe I just needed to get this off my chest. Who knows? By Sunday afternoon, I could be saying I'm an idiot based on the series we have against the Phillies, but I just don't think that's how it's going to work out. I just don't. I've covered everything. I can't think of another guy I want to talk about. I can't think of another trend I want to talk about. I've covered it all. Just some casual Tigers talk. We'll see. We'll see. Because if the Tigers start to plummet, you're not going to get as much of this Tigers talk. Because it's not as exciting. It's not worth it. We'll start to get ready for the Lions and Pistons seasons that boot back up in the fall and winter. Who knows? Maybe the Red Wings. But it's the summer. It's baseball season. And I am just riding a high with this Tigers team that I'm really, really, really expecting to continue. And if it doesn't, I'll be the first one to say, hey, my bad. You're just going to have to find it in about a 10-second TikTok because it's not going to get a half hour plus of my time. So, if you enjoyed some casual Tiger talk, I appreciate it. I'd like to do more of this. I think this is where I'm at my best. And it's always a pleasure to be able to be a fan and to talk about your favorite teams, especially when they're succeeding.